Good day. Hello, CJ and CW, Denise. I'm going to say hello to those others. Oh, and Maria, by the way, is I asked for some sort of form of communication for her, and she broke down and got a cell phone. So I am in touch with her, and she is well. So that's good to hear. And hello, Rebecca and Greg. And Greg should be home now in Pennsylvania, I believe. And let's see, who else? I want to say hello to the Lineweber family. I haven't said hello to them in a while. And so many more. Thank you, CJ, for your donation. And look, I also want to tell you, if you're having struggles at all, don't worry about donating. If you can, it's very much appreciated. Again, we're planning our Florida trip, so we decided to do this. It's going to be late winter, but we'll go down in our car and stay in the camper, like I mentioned before. We'll have Mass there, and I'm thinking of maybe trying to set up a little lanai type thing next to the camper, a little bit better than a tent. I think we deserve that. So if anybody wants to help with that, that would be greatly appreciated. We want to screen it in so we avoid the mosquitoes and bugs and whatnot. All right, we're going to continue with the credit yourself issue that we're working through and learning about under this current system, which I don't think has much longer to last. So I don't know how long we'll be able to do this, if at all, if it ever. Some are getting remedy. That's good. Some are not. I guess at this point it depends on who the Most Holy Trinity wants to will them to have it. All right. And we're also gonna go look at a cheapo motorhome next weekend just to see whether or not we can do that. We'll see. So lots going on. Hope you are all well. And I'm definitely almost 100% healed from that long cough winter thing that was going around. It was -4 here this morning, and I thought we were going to be done with the negatives, but we are not. This weather is just so bizarre, and tomorrow it's going to be in the mid-40s. So we know that something isn't right, and I forgot what that terminology was. Not right in. No, it's not Denmark. That wasn't what I was thinking. Oh well, it doesn't matter. See, I always turn when Lorraine is my memory. She's really good at memory. So anyway, let's get started with the Good Day Rising prayers. Drink water. And Ben is joining us this morning. Today is the 4th day after the new moon. Things should be getting better for those who are affected by it. In nomine Dei matronam nostrae, Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. And I'm also reading a book called Our Brain on Parasites. And it's very, very interesting. I may delve into that. There's so many things that I want to delve into. And why people are always concerned that I'm not doing, well, they're not concerned, but I try to tie all of this into Catholicism, and it's all related in one way or another. Oh, pardon me, I just noticed the... the American way of thinking is to compartmentalize things and to keep your religion here and your mechanics here and your income and your job here and your school here. And that is not the Catholic way to do things. In the Catholic society, everything revolves. It's all together. One affects the other, and it's all, if you will, overseen by Catholicism. And again, most who are not Catholic do not understand what Catholicism really is, so they base it on what they hear, or and usually that's error. Anyways, let us place ourselves in the presence of the Most Holy Trinity, and in Catholic contemplation humbly venerate the Divine Family. Most Holy and Venerable Trinity, one Divine Family, I believe that Thou art here present. I venerate Thee with the deepest humility. I render to Thee with my whole heart the homage which is due to Thee. O Most Holy Trinity, I believe that Thou art one family, one Divine Family, consisting of Deum Matronam Nostrae et Deum Iesum Crucem et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, and relying on Thine infinite goodnesses and promises, I hope to obtain pardon of my sins and the help of Thy grace and life everlasting through the merits of Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Matronam Nostrae. O Most Holy Trinity, I love Thee above all things with my whole heart and soul, because Thou art all good and worthy of all love. I love my neighbor as myself for love of Thee, and I forgive all who have injured me and ask pardon of all whom I have injured. Let us thank the Most Holy Trinity for the many graces that we receive, and offer ourselves and our sufferings up to heaven and for the souls in purgatory. O Most Holy Trinity, I most humbly thank Thee for all the favors Thou hast bestowed upon me to the present moment. It is again thanks to Thy bounty that I should live to see this day, and I desire to employ it solely in Thy service. I consecrate to Thee all my thoughts, words, actions, and sufferings of this day. Sanctify them, that there may be none that is not animated by Thy love, or that would not tend to Thy greater glory. Let us make a firm resolution to avoid evil and to do good, and let us beg of the Most Holy Trinity the graces which are necessary to us. O Most Holy Trinity, Thou knowest my weakness, and that I am unable to do anything good without the help of Thy grace. Deny me not Thy grace proportionate to my necessities. Give me strength to avoid everything which Thou forbiddest, to practice the good which Thou hast commanded, and enable me patiently to bear all the trials which it may please Thee to send me. O Deum Matronam Nostrae, I place myself under Thy protection. I throw myself with confidence into the arms of Thy compassion. Be to me, O Mother of Mercy, my refuge in distress, my consolation in suffering, now and at the hour of my death. O Most Holy Trinity, as envisioned by Saint Lucia, as the Most Holy Trinity, Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae et Deum Iesum Crucem et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, I am heartily sorry for having offended Thee, and I detest all my sins, because I dread the loss of heaven and the pains of hell. But most of all, because I have offended Thee, my God, who art good and deserving of all my love. I firmly resolve, with the help of Thy grace, to confess my sins, to do penance, and to amend my life. All right, I'm going to skip a chapter because I didn't like it. But we're going to continue. And if I recommend a book, it's again, don't think that I believe that everything in it is true or accurate. Okay, you have to use your own discernment capabilities. Don't rely on other people. Okay, you have to do your own discernment. Okay, so we were talking about HJR 192 of 1933, and we're going to continue with that. On April, and this gets in a little bit more detail about it. On April 5th, 1933, then President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, under executive order, it's very important, declared that, quote, all persons are required to deliver on or before May 1st, 1933, all gold coin. I'm going to back up. Notice he says all persons. On or before May 1st, 1933, all gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates now owned by them to the Federal Reserve Bank, branch, or agency, or to any member bank of the Federal Reserve System, unquote. James A. Farley, Postmaster General at the time, required each postmaster in the country to post a copy of the executive order in a conspicuous place within each branch of the post office. On the bottom of the posting was the following: criminal penalties for violation of executive order, a $10,000 fine or 10 years imprisonment or both, as provided in Section 9 of the order. Section 9 of the order reads as follows, quote, whosoever willfully violates any provisions of this executive order or of these regulations or of any rule, regulation, or license issued thereunder may be fined not more than $10,000, or if a natural person may be imprisoned for not more than 10 years or both, and any officer, director, or agency of any corporation who knowingly participates in any such violation may be punished by a like fine, imprisonment, or both, unquote. Note, stated within a written document received September 17, 1997, from the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Legal Counsel, Office of the Deputy Assistant Attorney General Richard L. Schiffen, in response to an FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, was the following, quote, a fact that is frequently overlooked is that executive orders and proclamations of the President normally have no direct effect upon private persons or their property, and instead normally constitute only directives or instructions to officers or employees of the federal government. The exception is those cases in which the President is expressly authorized or required by laws enacted by the Congress to issue an executive order or proclamation dealing with the legal rights or obligations of members of the public, such as issuance of selective service regulations, establishment of boards to investigate certain labor disputes, and establishment of quotas or fees with respect to certain imports into this country, unquote. Note, it seems rather obvious that President Franklin D. Roosevelt was not expressly authorized or required to issue an executive order or proclamation demanding the public relinquish their privately held gold. The word fools comes to mind. Okay, and a lot of it has to do with education. They had been drilling this programming and stuff into the citizens, if you will, and the children's head about following orders and doing what you're told. The order, the proclamation issued by Roosevelt, was an undisciplined act of treason. Now, here's the thing. We have to be wise enough in order to recognize what we should listen to and what we shouldn't listen to. Okay? Catholic virtue and the Catholic Church should have advised the people what was happening. But they didn't. 2 months after the executive order of June 5th, 1933, the Senate and House of Representatives, 73rd Congress, first session, at 4:30 p.m. approved House Joint Resolution 192, Joint Resolution to suspend the gold standard and abrogate the gold clause, Joint Resolution to assure uniform value to the coins and currencies of the United States. All right, now we've read through it before. I'm not going to read the resolution again because I did that in the back. But I will mention that it did supersede public law, replacing it with public policy. This eliminated our ability to pay our debts, allowing only for their discharge. When we use any commercial paper, checks, drafts, warrants, Federal Reserve notes, etc., and accept it as money, we simply pass the unpaid debt attached to the paper on to others by way of our purchases and transactions. This unpaid debt under public policy now carries a public liability for its collection. In other words, all debt is now public debt. Now they confuse things and they make it difficult by saying that they slide in words that these rules are for banks. All right, and the normal way of thinking would be that, okay, well, only a bank can do that. All right. However, that here's where it gets into private. Okay, when you're a private bank, especially if you're a creditor. The United States government, and this is, by the way, this is for entertainment purposes only, as they say. Not that I'm scared of any of that anyway, but because I'm acting in my private capacity. The United States government, in order to provide necessary goods and services, created a commercial bond, a promissory note, by pledging the property, labor, life, and body of its citizens as payment for the debt, the bankruptcy. What gave them that right? This commercial bond made chattel out of every man, woman, and child in the United States. Chattel, okay, for those who don't know, is like property. Okay, so the commercial bond made property out of every man, woman, and child in the United States. We became nothing more than human resources and collateral for the debt. This was without our knowledge and or our consent. What else reminds you of humans being made to think that they are chattel? All right, if you look up in the Talmud, there's many verses. Just look it up where there's and they deny it, but the Talmud very slyly insinuates that the non-Jew is chattel, or the equivalent to chattel, or animals, or the such. They have other Hebrew names for it, whatnot. Okay, and so they can like talk their way out of saying, oh, well, it doesn't mean that. But if you read it carefully, that's exactly what it's insinuating. So maybe these were the ones who came up with this system in order to treat the non-Jew and call them and make them into chattel. How was this done? It was done through the filing of our birth certificates, the filing or registration. And if you look on your birth certificate, which I didn't even know this until recently, if you get a long form birth certificate, sometimes like the certificate itself that you get from the hospital is not the actual certificate. There's a long form certificate which you can get, and it shows the date that it was filed or registered with the Department of Statistics. That's the date of birth of the straw man. That's when it was created. So that's another thing. We're using our date of birth, which is the real one, and putting it on. So that's another one of those tricks that they use in order to make you think that that's you, but it's not. The United States government, actually the elected and appointed administrators of government, took, and still does to this day, certified copies of all our birth certificates and placed them in the United States Department of Commerce as registered securities. These securities, each of which carries an estimated $1 million value, and I think it's a lot higher now, have been and still are circulated around the world as collateral for loans, entries on the asset side of ledgers, etc., just like any other security. There's just one problem. We didn't authorize it. The United States is a District of Columbia corporation. The United States government is a foreign corporation with respect to a state. That's Volume 20, Corpus Juris, Section 1785. See New York, R.E. Merriam 36, NE 505, 1441, Section 0.1973, 14L, Edition 287. Since a corporation is a fictitious person that cannot speak, see, touch, smell, etc., it cannot by itself function in the real world. It needs a conduit. It needs somebody to move around for it. And that conduit is called a transmitting utility, a liaison of some sort to connect the fictional person and the fictional world in which it exists to the real world. Why is this important? Because living people exist in the real world, not in a fictional world, but government exists in a fictional world and can only deal directly with other fictional persons, agencies, states, corporations, etc. In order for a fictional person to deal with real people, there must be a connection, a liaison, or a go-between. This can be something as simple as a commercial contract. When both quote-unquote persons, the real and the fictional, agree to the terms of a contract, there is a connection, there's intercourse, there's dealings, there is a communication, an exchange, there is business. But there is another way for fictional government to deal with real people, through the use of a representative, a liaison, a go-between. Who is this representative? This liaison that connects fictional government to real women and men. It's a government-created shadow, a fictional straw man with the same name as ours. This artificial person was created by using our birth certificates as its MCO, or manufacturer's certificate of origin, which is what is the actual title in a vehicle, by the way. And the state in which we were born as its port of entry. This gave fictional government an artificial person to deal with directly. This person is our mirror image straw man, or ens legis, E-N-S-L-E-G-I-S. Stramineus homo, that's Latin, a man of straw, one of no substance, put forward as bail or surety. This definition comes from Black's Law Dictionary, 6th edition, page 1421. Following the definition of Stramineus homo, in Black's we find the next word, straw man. And straw man means a front, a third party who is put up in name only to take part in a transaction. Nominal party to a transaction, one who acts as an agent for another for the purpose of taking title to real property and executing whatever documents and instruments the principal may direct. A person who purchases property for another to conceal identity of the real purchaser or to accomplish some purpose otherwise not allowed. Webster's Ninth New Collegiate Dictionary defines the term straw man as 1. A weak or imaginary opposition set up only to be easily confuted. 2. A person set up to serve as a cover for a usually questionable transaction. The straw man can be summed up as an imaginary, passive stand-in for the real participant, a front, a blind, a person regarded as a non-entity. The straw man is a shadow go-between. Over the years, government, through its public school system, has managed to pull the wool over our eyes and keep us ignorant of some very important facts. Because all facets of the media, print, radio, and TV, and now internet, have an ever-increasing influence in our lives, and because media is controlled by government and its agencies with the issuances of licenses, etc., we have slowly and systematically been conditioned to believe that any form of appellation of our name is in fact still us, as long as the spelling is correct. That is categorically wrong. We were never told with full and open disclosure what our government officials were planning to do and why. We were never told that the United States government is a corporation, a fictitious person. We were never told that our government had quietly, almost secretly, created a fictional shadow, a straw man for each and every American. And now it's beyond that, if you get a number from them, so that the government could not only control us, the people, but also raise an unlimited amount of revenue so it could continue not just to exist, but to grow and to keep us enslaved. We were never told that when our government deals with the straw man, it is not dealing with us, the real living people. We were never told openly and clearly, with full disclosure, all the facts that we have been unable to pay our debts since 1933, June 5th. We were never told that we have been pledged, and our children, and their children, and their children, and on, as collateral, mere chattel for the debt created by the government officials who committed treason when they did. We were never told that they quietly and cleverly changed the rules, even the game itself, and that the world we perceive as real is in fact fictional, and it's all for their benefit. We were never told that the straw man, a fictional person, a creature of the state, is subject to all the codes, statutes, rules, regulations, ordinances decreed by government, but that we, the real men and women, are not. We were never told that we were being treated as property, as indentured servants, albeit comfortably for some, while living in the land of the free, and that we could easily walk away from the fraud. We were never told we were being abused. Almost finished for today. There's something else you should know. Everything since June 1933 operates in commerce. Why is this important? Because commerce is based on contracts. The government has an implied contract with the straw man, whereby the straw man is subject to government rule. When we step into their commercial process, we become the surety for the fictional straw man. We back it up. Reality and fiction are reversed. We become liable for the debts, liabilities, and obligations of the straw man and relinquish our real protected character as we stand in the place of our fictional straw man. And the hard part with this is that when you try to explain this to those people who are like forcing that on us, they're so ingrained in their mind and in sin they cannot see this. And so they become a wall and block. The fictional government can only function in a fictional commercial world where there is no real money, only fictional funds, mere entries, figures, and digits. A presentment from a fictional corporation, from a traffic citation to a criminal charge, is a negative claim against the straw man. This claim takes place in the fictional world of government. Digits move from one side of your straw man's account to the other, or to a different account. This is today's commerce. In the past, we addressed such claims by fighting them in court with one legal process after another and failed. We played the futile, legalistic dog and pony show while the commerce game played on, not realizing that the court was commerce as well. But what if we refuse to play the dog and pony show? What if we play the commerce game instead? What if we go with the flow instead of fighting the system? What if we use the system ourselves instead? Why not accept their presentments for value and extinguish their claims? This is the power of commercial contracts, and it should be mentioned at least this one time. And again, this going with the flow is only in the interim. I can't stress this is enough. We need to get this out of this paper system and into a Catholic monarchy. A contract overrides the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and any other document other than another contract. Okay? So, get that. A contract overrides the Constitution, which I explained doesn't really even exist anymore. But in the minds of the majority, it does. The Bill of Rights and any other document other than another contract. So we're all living in contract law. No process of law can operate upon you. No agent or agency of government, including the courts, can gain jurisdiction over you without your consent. You are not in their fictional domain unless you volunteer to be. The accepted for value process gives us the ability to deal with them through our transmitting utility straw man. Yes, this process is effective. It can set you free from governmental oppression and control. But remember, what goes around comes around. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Do not abuse this process. It could come around and bite you in the end. All right, we're going to stop there for today. And, for those which the majority of you have never heard of this before, and I guess this is the time for us to start to be aware of it and to make it more public, because the more awareness gets out there, the more the people who are in those positions of being the wall will start to question, especially those, whatever these Gen Zers are, whoever they are. Apparently they're getting it, which is nice. So now if we can get them to get Catholicism, original Catholicism, that would be awesome. Let's begin Mass. Deum vobiscum et quoque apud. Oremus. O most holy Trinity, the creator and redeemer of all the faithful, grant to the souls of thy servants and handmaids the remission of all their sins, that they may obtain by loving prayers the forgiveness which they have always desired. Who livest and reignest with thee, one divine family, forever and ever. Suscipe Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum hoc immaculatum hostium, quam ego indinius famulos tuus offero tibi Deum meum vivum et verum, pro unum vidibus peccatis et offensionibus et negligentis meis, et pro omnibus circumstantibus, sere pro omnibus Fidelibus Catholicorum vivis atque defunctis ut mihi edidis proficiat salutem. Deum qui humanae substantia dignitatum mirabilita condidisia mirabilis reformaster da nobis spiritus atque divinem mysterium eius divinitatis esse consortes qui militatis nostrae, fieri notis pateceps Deum Iesum Christum Filium, qui tecum vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Offerimus tibi Deum calicem salutaris tuum de peccantis clementiam, ut conspectu divinae majestatis tuae pro nostra et totius mundi salute, cum adore suavitatis ascendat. In spiritu humilitatis et in animo contrito, suscipiam rata Deum Iesum Christum et fiat sacrificium nostrum et conspectu hodie, ut placeat tibi Deum matronum nostrae Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Veni sanctificator, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, et sanctificata plata prosequendo, et capere hoc sacrificium tuo sancto nomini praeparatum. Suscipe Sancta Trinitas concoblationum cum tibi efferimus amorum passionis resurrectionis et ascensionis Deum Iesum Christum, et in honorum Deum matronum nostrae et Papa Pater Sanctorum et Istorum et omnem Sanctorum, ut illis proficiat ad honorem nobis autem et salutem, et ili pro nobis intercedit et inventor in caelis, coram amorum agimus in tedis per Deum Christum Deum nostrum. Orate, ut meam equestrum sacrificium agetabile fiat apud Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Suscipia Deum Iesum Christum sacrificium de manibus tuis et laudam et gloriam nominis sui ad juditatem quoque nostrum totiusque ecclesiae sui sanctae. Deum obiscum, et quoque apud te, surus un corda habemus ad Deum, gratias agamus Deum nostrum, dignum et justum est. Te ege hoc limitissimi mater et pater et Deum matronum nostrae, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per Deum Iesum Christum Filium tuum Deum nostrae, supplices rogamus et petimus. Ut ecce habeas et sanctificas haec sanctam sacrificium irribata. In primis quae tibi efferimus pro ecclesiam tuum sanctam catholicam, quam beatificare custodire honore et regere dineris tot obiterarum atque catholicae. Memento Deum famulorum catorum. We pray for the sick and the suffering. We especially pray for Luis Cantu, Robert Dosco Sr. and Jr., Robert Santa Croce, Katie Gage, RM, Neil and Earl Lively, Maria Josephine Mose, Letitia, Mindy Claret, Mark Jr., Henry Barber, and Benedict Santa Croce, Mr. Nobody, the Cantu and Duarte families, Michaela McLarnon and family, Sarah and Becky, Jenna, Lena, Lori, Aaron and family, Maria and the Langweber family, the Cahill, Kendrick, Dasco, Nye, Tafor, Beacon, Wolf, and Kane families, and Todd Wolf, and Alex Tafor. We pray for Mr. Nobody to receive the funding and strength needed to complete the first Sede Vacantis Catholic Council Office and Monastery of Illinois. We pray for an end to all governmental allowance or sanctioning of abortion, transgenderism, transhumanism, child trafficking, child abuse of any kind, anywhere, place, or time. We pray for the establishment of a Catholic monarchy with a sound Catholic system of labor, human value, medium of exchange with no usury. We pray for courageous men to transition us into this system. We pray for those who understand the commercial process, who are in positions of allowing it to continue and to be used by the people, that they be given strength and courage, wisdom and fortitude to effect the process. We ask for the reversal of the feminist ideology and a return to godly femininity, that all women cease working for Freemasons and corporations everywhere, that they come to understand the raising of traditional Catholic families is a very high ideal and a necessity for sustaining a Catholic society, that we end all quote-unquote gay marriage, all pornography, stop the OnlyFans platform. That we cease having Super Bowl halftime shows that are satanic, and that instead raise the value of Deam Matronam Nostrae. We ask for the conversion of all sinners trapped in a state of mortal sin, especially the ignorant. We ask for the end to harmful radiation waves in our air and in our homes. Close all gateways and portals. And we ask that all forms of Freemasonry end and all their adherents become members of the Most Holy Trinitarian Theophany through correct baptism and confession. All this we ask in accordance with the Most Holy Trinity's divine intention and will. Et omnium circumstantium quorum tibi fides cognita est noto devotio pro quibus tibi eferimus, veruque tibi affrontox sacrificium laudis, pro se suisque omnibus, pro redemptione anamarum suarum prospe salutis et calamitatis suae, tibi redunt vota sua aeterno Deum viu et vero. Communicantes et memoriam venerantes in primis gloriosae, semper Deum matronam nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et beatorum martyrium tuorum Papa Sancta Petri, et Sancti Luci, et Sancti Jacinta, et Sancti Francisco, et Sancti Juan Diego, et omnium sanctorum tuorum quorum editis, praecibus quae conceda sut omnibus, protectiones tuae monomer exilio per inum Christum Deum nostrum, quam oblationem de Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum in omnibus, consecratum acceptabilem quae fegedi dineris ut nobis corpum, et sanguine fiat edictissimi Filium tuum Deum Iesum Christum, qui pridie quam pateretur recepit panem sanctus ac honorabilis manus suas, et derivatis oculis in caelum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum suum omnipotentem tibi gratias agens, consecravit, fregit didique luminis sui dicens, accipit et manducat ex hoc omnes. Hoc est enim corpus meum. Simili modo postquam ceremonias decipiens hunc preclarum calicem in sanctus ac honorabilis manus suas ident tibi gratias agens Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Consecrave dedique luminis sui dicens accipite et bibite ex omnes. Hic est enim calix sanguinis mei mysterium fidei, quae pro nobis et pro multis effundetur in remissione peccatorum, haeque tescumque feceritis in me mono facietis. Unde et me mores Deum nos servituis, et plebs tua sancta iustum Christum Filium tuum Deum nostrae, tambe et passiones nec non et benferis rejectionis, sed et in caelos gloriosa ascensionis offerimus preclare maiestati tuae, de tuis donis actatis, supra quae propitio axareno vultur respicieri digneris. Supplices teragamus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum iube hic perfet per manus tuum ut quod, ex hoc ataris participationis sacrosanctum Deum Filium tuum, corpus et sanguinum sincerimus, omni sanctificatione caelestia gratia repe amor per inum Christum Deum nostrae. We pray for those who have died. We especially pray for Roman Pollock, for whom this Mass is being offered. Ipsis Deum et omnibum in Christum quis gentibum locum refugere id lucis et paucis ut odora gesta bracamera per in Christum Deum nostrum. Perquam hic omnia Deum Iesum Christum semper bona creas, sanctificas, vivicas, consecratis et praestas nobis. per ipsum et cum ipso et in ipso. Est ibi Deum Mater omnipotent in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, omnis honor et gloria. Ave Dea, Maternam nostra, gratia plena Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum tecum. Sanctam tuum in mulieribus Dea Maternam nostrae, Materam Deum Iesum Christum. Ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Libera nos quaesimus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum abondibus malis, praeteritis praesentibus et futuris. Et intercedente beata gloriosa semper Dea Maternam nostrae, cum Papa Petrum Sanctorum et omnibus sanctis propitius pacemnibus nostris. Ut opet misericordiae tuae aduiti et peccato, simus semper liberi et ab omni perturbationis securi. Per eandem Deum nostrum Iesum Christum Filium Tuum Deum nostrum, qui tecum vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per aeternam. Pax Deum Iesum Christum sit semper vobiscum, et quoque apud te. Haec mixtio consecratio corporis et sanguinis Deum Iesum Christum fiat excipientibus nobis in ad salutem aeternam. Pax tecum, et quoque apud te. Deum Iesum Christum, qui ex voluntate Deum Maternam nostrae, quoperante Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum per mortem tuam unum, vivicasti, libera me per sacrum sanctum corpus et sanguinum tuum omnibus inducatatibus meis, et universis malis, et fac me tui semper inharare mandatis, et aetinum cum separari permitas, qui cum eodem Deum Maternam nostrae et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, vivis et reinam aeternam. Perceptio corporis tui Deum Iesum Christum, quod ego indinius sumere praesumo non mihi proveniat, in judicium condemnationem. Sed pro tu pietate prosit mihi ad tutum endemendis corporis, et ad medelam percipiendam. Qui vivis et reinas cum Deum Maternam nostrae, in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Panem celestem excipient nomen Deum Iesum Christum invocabo. Deum Maternam nostrum non sundinius, ut et subtete meis in tante de verbis nobis mea. Deum Iesum Christum non sundinius, ut et subtete meis in tante de verbis nobis mea. Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum non sundinius, ut et subtete meis in tante de verbis nobis mea. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima mea. Quid virtubum Deum Iesum Christum pro omnibus quaero turbut mihi, calicem salutaris excipiem in nomen Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum invocabo. Laudans invocabo Deum Maternam nostrae et ab inimicis meis avus ero. Sanguis Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima meam. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet animam tuum. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet animam tuum. Codori sumus Deum Iesum Christum puramente capiamus et immunamente parae nobis remedium sempiternum. Corpus tuum Deum Iesum Christum quod sanctis sanguis quam petaria heriat visceribus meis apraesta, ut in me non remaneat scelere macula quem pura et sancta reficerunt sacramenta. Deum vobiscum, et quo corpo te. Oremus. May the prayer of thy suppliants profit the souls of thy servants and handmaids, we beseech thee, O most holy Trinity, that thou mayest free them from all sins and make them sharers in thy redemption, who livest and reignest with thee, one divine family, forever and ever. Deum vobiscum, quo corpo te, ite mis est, Deum gratia. Implaciat tibi sancta Trinitam obsequium servitutis meae, et praesta ut sacrificim coro colis tuae maestatis in unus autoritibus et acceptabile mique et omnibus, pro quibus idut optolicit miserante propitiabere Christum Deum nostrum. Sanctificat vos omnipotens Deum, Matronam, et Filium, et Spiritum Sanctum, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, gratias. O most holy Trinity, I believe, I venerate, I hope, and I love thee. I beg of thee pardon for those who do not believe, do not venerate, do not hope, and do not love thee. Most holy Trinity, I venerate thee profoundly, and I offer to thee the most precious body, blood, soul, and divinity of Deum Iesum Christum, present here in reparation for the outrages, sacrileges, and indifference by which he himself is offended, and through the infinite merits of his most sacred heart and the immaculate heart of Deum Matronam Nostrae, I beg of thee the conversion of poor sinners. In nomine Dei Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gracias. Thank you for being here. And I know there's a few that joined in. Oh, there's Maria. Hello, Maria. And Andrew, good day. And Sister Jeannie, you made it. Also wanted to wish my my son, what number is he? 9, number 9. Son number 9 is his birthday today. He's 19. I keep turning it. 19. Happy birthday, Malachi. Malachi Marion. What a name, huh? All right. Please go and sanctify all those you meet. Again, do your due diligence, do your research, pray the rosary, and please go and sanctify all those you meet. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.